thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. Um,
Of course.
so just to start off, can you tell me about your career journey so far and what led you to pursue a graduate degree in finance?
Yeah, so when I graduated in stats about 2018,
Uh-huh.
there wasn't a lot out there for me, and it's hard to get into the business world with a statistics major. So I decided to just go back to school. I went to the Harvard Extension School for about a year and a half. Um, there, I did half a year online and then a year out there. And it was really good for me. You know, met a lot of people, tried to get a job, but really just focused. And this past year, I graduated. And when I graduated, I didn't have a lot of experience, but through the people I met and through some family members, I was able to land a job at Goldman Sachs working for compliance.
Nice, nice. So, what does a typical day or week look like for you as a finance graduate student, especially when balancing research projects or internships?
Yeah, so luckily for me, I was out there when I was doing my undergrad or my post grad, and I didn't really work. You know, I had people help me pay for my school. So when it came to like balancing everything, it was really just 100% focused on finishing the task at hand. So there was a lot of like research on projects. I didn't really have a lot of internships, but you know, at the end of the day, I got it finished um, on time and did it well to my best ability. And even though I didn't have a lot of internships or a lot of like hands-on experience, you know, I'm still at Goldman Sachs where I'm learning a lot. And I actually love it so much, and just doing a lot of learning.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Mhm.
So, what skills or experiences have been most valuable in your finance studies and internships, and how did you go about developing them?
Yeah, so I think it's most important for you to understand who you are as a person, right? So for me, I am a very technical person and I like to just look at the numbers and be by myself. So when I was, for example, I had an internship, but it was during my undergrad and it was at an insurance company. So when I was there, it helped me learn the skills of being with people and developing like those leadership skills, the soft skills that everybody needs. And doing that helps me just like understand what it is people understand what people like want and how to deal with people in a business transaction. And then of course I think it's super important for the technical skills to be built out, especially if you're going into like something worthwhile. You know, for me, I loved using data and data integrity, all of that, and that has helped me tremendously, especially here at GS. GS has been a great place. You know, it's really helped me develop my work ethic. You know, I wasn't always the hardest worker, but now it's keeping me on a consistent schedule. It's getting me like more responsible and really getting me to work on a team, which I haven't done a lot of, but it's been a lot of fun and I'm really excited to just keep using my skills.
Of course, of course. So, what trends or changes in the finance industry should someone like me be aware of as I prepare to start my career?
Yeah, I think it's super important to look at the job market and understand um, what it's saying, and if you can't get a job, or if not, then to look at alternatives, right? So in my undergrad, I just remember I took a class and it talked about how in just depending on certain years, um, the college graduates job rate acceptance was dependent on that year. So like after like '08, the job market was really low, right? Like people couldn't get jobs, and then a couple years after it started booming, and then people could be placed easier and higher. And during that time, that would pretty much give you your career path and how much money you would make. Like those people who were put into booming times, like they would make so much more money than people put into like bad times, right? So I think it's important for you to understand the finance industry, and if it's not what you want, there's always going to be opportunities, right? So I didn't really start. I had internships and other things like that, but this is my first real, salary job, and I'm 27, about to turn 28. Like it's considered late for me, but I think everybody has their own time or has their own thing that they need to do.
For sure. Okay. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to an undergraduate student who is planning to go into finance, what would it be?
That's a good question. So I think the biggest advice I got was to really enjoy what you're doing so that, it doesn't feel like work. Right now at GS, I've been absolutely loving what I'm doing, even though it's a lot of, learning on the job. I haven't done much of these skills yet, and it's a lot of reading, which I don't like, but it's a lot of fun for me, and it's a lot of, communicating with people, understanding a lot of new systems. It's a lot of fun, and I'm actually looking forward to going to work. And I've seen a lot of people who don't want to do that or who just go for money. I think it's super important for you to want to find a bigger reason, So my reason and why I even went into finance was honestly my parents, right? So the first piece of advice was to love what I was doing, and I do like what I'm doing, and at the end of the day, it's going to help me buy my parents a house and help me just make sure that they're okay.
Okay, for sure. So that's it for my questions. I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come meet with me.
Of course, anything to give back.
Of course. All right. Thank you. You have a good one.
You as well.